So today we're going to be doing a very fun video of tracking them back to the exact source of where they spawned in at. Hi, if you don't know me, my name is Devin. I own the Nidus firm where we focus on fixing the onboarding and intaking systems for RIAs. Now let's get right into it. There we go. Typically on the average intake and onboarding form, they'll fill out their social, personal information, email, phone number, address, date of birth, social, and then any other dependents that they might have. Now, typically on what I see on forms that most RIAs have, surprisingly still, this is their form, is from like the 90s to early 2000s. And that's an issue because back then there was no real sense of validation on a form other than just writing text on the top of the page or the bottom of the page or next to every single field, which still doesn't prevent a mistake 100%. Now, this issue, if it's not obvious already, came from your client not understanding that, let's just say their social security needed 8 digits, right? They only entered 6 or 7 by mistake, because again, there's no validation. There's nothing forcing them to input the correct amount of numbers. Now, they also didn't realize that they couldn't just input Nick as a dependent. Nick who? Is it Nick Garcia? Is it Nick Johnson? Right? Nick who? You can't just put a first name as a dependent and not state their last name, who they are to you, etc., etc. Now, all of this happened because your form for onboarding or intake doesn't automatically check for, and I mean, how could it? It's just a paper or PDF with text on it. There's nothing going on in the back end. There's no code in the back end. There's no system. It's just a form that they fill out with by typing or writing even. If you're still making clients handwrite onboarding intake forms, so as they're filling it out, the form doesn't check for this, right? So instead, it goes from them to the custodian where they're opening up the account. They see that there's an error, so they send it right back to you instead, right? Very simple process. Everyone understands that. Now, the issue happened at the very beginning when they first got the form. That's where the issue started. And the reason behind that isn't necessarily the client's fault. It's not even the form's fault either, right? If your form doesn't have any validation logic tied into it, how can it stop it in the first place? So all this comes down to a poor infrastructure on the back end on how you bring in clients. Now, this can easily be fixed by doing 2 things. Number 1, forcing your form to validate prior to submission. This way, if they only enter a 7-digit social security, won't let them submit it. If they forget to put the last name of a dependent, it won't let them submit it either. So automatically this process is already fixed. However, there's always a catch. Let's just say that they misspelled their name, right? So the form can see, okay, it'll see Nick Garcia, but it won't realize that Nick Garcia is spelled with 2 A's and an S with an apostrophe on it. It'll see that the name is filled in, but it can't check the actual logic, right? It's only there to validate and ensure that every space is filled out. Now, this is where you have an infrastructure on the back end that's intelligent. It can say, okay, it'll scan everything that's needed. It won't scan the social security number. It won't scan all of the personal information, bank account information, whatever, right? Anything that's personal, it won't scan that. However, something like the dependent names, let's say, it'll say something, okay, well, hey, X, is your dependent last name spelt Garcia, or is it Garcia? Because again, people make mistakes. They're rushing. If they're typing using an iPhone or a computer, maybe they hit too many buttons, spell correction systems, whatever, anything can happen, right? So this way, your backend, the form, makes sure everything is filled out at the bare minimum, right? So you can forget that issue altogether. And then after that point, yes. And then if there's still an issue with the form itself, your backend catches it and it has enough intelligence to say, okay, well, this is incorrect. Let's send them back to them before it even gets to the custodian. And that way we can avoid the NGO. And even if there is an issue, you won't have to manually step in and do it. And this is all caused by a faulty system to bring in the clients. The back end is almost always the issue in this case, right? It's always dealing with how you're setting up your form and the system to bring it in from point A all the way to the end into your CRM, to the custodian, etc. It all starts with the form and the process to taking all the information every single time. I'm telling you, every single time. But thankfully, and going into 2026, we have systems that can do something like this. This is huge. The ability, the autonomy to look at the logic of the form, decide if it's incorrect, correct, and then adjust itself for a client and for you, which is exactly where we come in at and install these types of systems. So that's it for the video. Hopefully you understand exactly the point of the video, right? It's not to say that, hey, your form and your process is terrible, is broken. No, it's not the form fault. It's not the system's fault. It's simply that it's not capable of preventing NGOs to pop up to begin with, which is why you need to update your system, update the logic that you're using in your firm today. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And if you have any questions on whatever I just said about having your form automatically do validations and getting a system in the back end that handles this, don't hesitate to comment down below, reach out to me via email, connect with me on LinkedIn, or if you want to talk more directly, book a free call down in the description down below, and we can sit down for 15-20 minutes to talk about it. Again, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe.